Andre told me the door was just stuck, but I heard a second voice on the other side. Part 2. The moment I opened those bank statements, my hands wouldn't stop trembling, week after week. The same Thursday withdrawal, the same amount bleeding out of an account I had never once seen. Every single one of those withdrawals traced back to a lease payment, an apartment across town that Andre had been quietly funding for 14 months straight, registered under a name I didn't recognize. Someone was living there, fully supported by the man I shared a bed with, and when I cross-referenced the dates against his calendar, his so-called late nights at work lined up perfectly with every single Thursday. That laughing voice I'd heard through our locked door hadn't belonged to a stranger just passing through. She had been inside my home, in my space, more times than I could count. I waited until he walked through the front door that night, and I laid every statement across the kitchen table without saying a word. Just let him look. He didn't deny a single line. He sat down slowly, like his body had decided this was the moment it was done holding him up. And he said he was sorry in this rehearsed, deflated way that told me the apology had been ready for months. Then he said her name out loud, unbidden, like I'd asked, and something about hearing it spoken in my own kitchen made it impossible to keep pretending any of this wasn't completely real. 2 years, he finally admitted. 2 years of Thursdays. 2 years of a second life he'd been running parallel to ours like I was just scenery. He'd forgotten to notice. I asked him if he loved her, and he paused, just half a second. But that silence landed harder than anything he could have said out loud. I told him to be out of the house by morning, and he didn't argue, didn't beg, didn't even raise his voice, just nodded and went upstairs and started packing like he'd already rehearsed that part too. I sat on the kitchen floor and called my sister and just held the phone while she talked because I had nothing left to say. The affair was devastating, but what truly broke something in me was knowing I had been the very last person in my own life to find out. 2 months later, a mutual friend told me she'd ended things with Andre. Turns out he'd been telling her I was the unhinged one who refused to let go, and she'd finally uncovered enough of his lies to walk away. She reached out to me directly not long after, voice careful and quiet, and we ended up talking for almost an hour, two strangers comparing the same story from opposite ends, realizing we'd each been fed a different version of who the other one was. He didn't just lose me, he lost both of us within the same season, and I'd be lying if I said that didn't feel like the only justice I was ever gonna get. Follow so you don't miss what comes next.